Well, let's start with the big story that we're tracking this hour, where Pakistan's sinister plan to spread terror in India has been exposed yet again. Now, sources are telling WION that Pakistan's ISI has formed a new terror strategy by forming a group called the Halal Dasta. The group comprises of terrorists mainly who have been taken in from the Lashkar-e-Taiba and are parts of Pakistan's border action team. Now, the intelligence sources are also indicating that Pakistan is in fact trying to target the Indian security forces through these groups while maintaining their denial of using terrorists against India. The ISI has directed all terror groups in the valley to attack the security forces, and this has led to a major movement of terrorists in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir region, is what the sources have said. And also the presence of terrorists waiting at what have been dubbed as launch pads to infiltrate the border and then cross over to India has risen from 615 in July to 750 in the month of August. And also for more on this, we are joined in by our correspondent Raghavendra Rao. Raghavendra, this is a new sinister sort of a terror plan that has been unveiled. What more information do we have in this?
Well, Mohammed, yes, the information that has come in suggests that the Pakistani inter-services intelligence, the ISI, it's now going all out to push more and more terrorists into India, and the strategy seems to be very clear. The army would want to maintain deniability. They would want to, ensure that no fingers can be pointed at them. So what the intelligence inputs are suggesting here in India are that now they are roping in terrorists from outfits like the Lashkar-e-Taiba, and they are forming, teams and directing these terrorist groups to launch attacks on, the Indian security forces, including, road opening parties, or posts which are located in very isolated and remote areas. That seems to be the strategy for now. Also, the Indian intelligence agencies have reported that major movement of terrorists has been noticed in these launch pads which are located in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. You just read out the figures, so that reflects that the terrorist movement that is happening in POK is significantly higher than previously. Also, the fact that this year we have seen an increased frequency of ceasefire violations. Just yesterday, we reported that the number of ceasefire violations that have happened on the LOC have more than doubled from last year, and the year has still not ended. All of this put together, ceasefire violations at an all-time high, infiltration bids at an all-time high, and now you have the Pakistani establishment, trying to push in more and more terrorists. So
absolutely, Raghavendra. This actually brings me to my other question. What we are seeing is increased ceasefire violations by the Pakistani army and also increased number of infiltration attempts. Why do you suppose that this is a strategy being adopted by Pakistan? Why is there this new increased activity from the Pakistani side? Is it perhaps with an election that is slated for next year? Is that what you think, considering the kind of crisis that is going on within the Pakistani establishment itself?
Well, Mohammed, this has been Pakistan's strategy for years now, keeping Kashmir on the boil, keeping the line of control on the boil. This has been the strategy. It's just that we have only witnessed brief periods when there is a lull in between, and then things get back to normal. So, it suits the army there, it suits the political establishment there. Kashmir is the only issue that can get politicians some degree of traction in Pakistan. And as I said, it suits them to keep the Kashmir issue on the boil. That said, the fact that we are seeing increased activity on the border, the fact that the number of ceasefire violations have more than doubled as compared to last year, just goes on to show, the kind of audacity these Pakistani, terrorists and soldiers are showing from across the border. Also, the fact that most of these ceasefire violations are engineered with the sole purpose of pushing in more terrorists into India. So if you if you see the bigger picture, it all adds up. You have ceasefire violations going up. Correspondingly, you have infiltration bids going up. The number of terrorists which were infiltrating into India and were killed last year, the numbers have gone up this year as well. So, in the larger scheme of things, it all adds up.
Absolutely indeed, Raghavendra. Thank you very much indeed for joining us with that perspective there.